Pacquiao was supposed to be on a flight back to the Philippines after judging the Miss Universe competition in Miami. But the flight was canceled, giving him an extra day in town, and he decided to head to American Airlines Arena to catch the Heat Bucks game. As luck would have it, another boxing superstar was also in the building that night.
Manny looked, gave him a big smile. Floyd smiled back.
I never expected that it was there. So imagine, coincidence, it's timing, it's God's way.
It was the first time Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao had ever come face to face. As the widely viewed courtside encounter wound down, phone numbers were exchanged. And in fact, a few hours later, Mayweather would call to ask if they could meet at Pacquiao's hotel. Numbers were exchanged. And in fact, a few hours later, Mayweather would call to ask if they could meet at Pacquiao's hotel. In fact, a few hours later, Mayweather would call to ask if they could meet.
Manny and I were both looking at each other. Why is he coming here at 1 o'clock in the morning? You know, what's his plan? We didn't give him credit that it would be that he really wanted the fight to happen. We didn't give him credit that it would be that he really wanted the fight to happen. We didn't give him credit that it would be that he really wanted the fight to happen. We didn't give him credit.
They met in Pacquiao's suite, 909, confirming their shared interest in facing off and moving ever so close to the ultimate breakthrough.
And then something strange happened a little bit later. I got a text from Floyd saying, you know, can you FaceTime me?
I wanted to FaceTime him when I was at the meeting with Manny.
He was sitting on the couch in apparently in a hotel room, it looked like, sitting next to Manny Pacquiao.
I said, we're getting close. It was a really, really good thing for him to do that, in my opinion.
And Manny called me, and they said that they felt assured that Mayweather wanted to do the fight.
Floyd, he wanted to be able to explain to him, as two fighters and as businessmen, we need to come together and work out a deal, and let's get the fans what they want to see.
He had a wonderful career, and I had a wonderful career, but before we leave the sport, of course, we have to make this fight happen.
Whether it's Floyd, whether it's Showtime, whether it's HBO, whether it's Manny, Bob Arum, I think they all love the color green. And everybody's going to make a whole lot of green on this fight.
This time all the elements came together.
We tried to make this fight happen in the past. You know, the teams kept bumping heads because of random blood and urine testing, about being the A side and who's going to be the B side. We finally resolved everything. The teams got on the same page and we made the fight happen.
He's an E side and I'm B side.
The history between Mayweather and Bob Arum is a long one, fraught with slights and battles, grand designs and thwarted ambitions. It dates to 1996, when Floyd made his professional debut under Arum's promotional banner.
When I went to Top Rank, at that particular time, their whole focus was Oscar De La Hoya. He was the cash cow. So only thing I could do is respect that. Bob Arum wanted me to be a certain way. So that's why we kept bumping heads, You
came out, you showboated a little bit earlier. You do that, that's part of your thing. Obviously, it rankled the crowd a little bit. They weren't thrilled with that.
Some guys you love, some guys you hate. That's what sells tickets. And I'm here to sell tickets, you know. I'm a performer, that's what I do, I sell myself.
I'd rather be hated for being real and who I am than be loved for someone that I'm not.
After 10 years, Mayweather decided to assume control of his career and his identity. For $750,000, he bought himself out of his contract with Arum.
Finally, when I got free and became my own boss, I done things my way.
Mayweather decided to assume control of his career and his identity. For $750,000, he bought himself out of his contract with Arum.
Finally, when I got free and became my own boss, I done things my way.
Mayweather decided to assume control of his career and his identity. For $750,000, he bought himself out of his contract with Arum.
Finally, when I got free, finally, when I got free.
After 10 years, Mayweather decided to assume control of his career. For $750,000, he bought himself out of his contract with Arum.
Finally, when I got free and became my own boss, I done things my way.
Money Mayweather, owner of Mayweather Promotions. He'd so offend to make offense a skill. Floyd booked a fight against none other than Arum's erstwhile golden boy, Oscar de la Hoya.
That's when we started doing record-breaking numbers, and that's what it's about.
It was the biggest purse boxing had ever seen, well over $150 million. Floyd won the super welterweight belt and the mythical pound-for-pound title. What's more, it would be the last time anyone called him the B-side fighter.
Floyd Money Mayweather Jr. is the chosen one, a son of God who has been chosen to do exactly what he's doing. This is the greatest fight in history, and his opponent is not even Manny Pacquiao. The only people confused about why he hadn't taken the fight or why he hadn't fought Manny Pacquiao yet are those who don't know who he's fighting and don't know what he's fighting for. So let me tell you what he's fighting for and who his real opponent is. Floyd is an African-American male born in the MTV, Robin Leach, lifestyles of the rich and famous era. All his life, he believed if you work hard, you can have the American dream. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But nobody ever told him that the original European Christian founding fathers of this nation never meant for a man of color to enjoy that type of freedom or success. A fight of this magnitude forces us to look at history. History has repeated itself. This is a replay of the first fight between Joe Louis and Max Schmeling. The same fate that American boxing handed to Joe Louis and so many other champs, they intended for Floyd, but he won. Joe Louis was handled and molded, all so mainstream Christian white America would accept him, but they rejected him anyway. They still exploited him and they still hated him. For what? Simply because he was a man of color. And they tried to do the same thing to Floyd. In 1996, they robbed him of a gold medal. And for the first 10 years, they tried to handle him and mold him just like Joe Louis. But they couldn't stop Floyd's dream. Floyd took control of his own destiny and has dominated. Floyd has done what no other African American athlete has ever been able to do. Control his own destiny. Not Joe Louis, Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, and even Tiger Woods. Everyone that has been previously named, all have been or are being exploited, but not Floyd Money Mayweather. His dominance is the blueprint for the solutions to Ferguson, for the solutions to Baltimore, for the solutions to Sanford, for the solutions to Staten Island. How does this system of oppression exist in a God-fearing, Bible-believing country founded by Christians? It happens when you have the form of godliness, but you deny the power thereof. My black and brown brothers of color, be encouraged. I am Michael Emmanuel, the spokesperson for the Remnant Sons of God and the Father's Wish Foundation. Floyd Money Mayweather is the chosen one in this generation to remind us that we have the Mayvenchi Code. The Mayvenchi Code is the everlasting birthright of dominion handed down to our forefather Adam, who was the first African, the first human, which means man of color, hue meaning color, man meaning man of color, a new being. Now he was given dominion, which is the authority to rule over every living thing. And he handed this dominion down in the form of a birthright to his sons of the covenant with God, who then became known as the sons of God when they accepted this covenant and received their birthright. Now, a birthright is not given to any son, but given to the specific son who receives the blessing from his father. Adam handed this birthright down to Seth. Seth handed it down to his sons, Enoch. Enoch handed it down to his sons, Noah. And Noah handed it down to his sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And through this line of the sons of God, every nation, kindred, tongue, and people on the face of the earth have been blessed. The Mayvenchi Code is an unbroken chain that I will reveal to you. The sons of God have never stopped passing this birthright of dominion down, generation after generation. A birthright can only be coveted by other brothers, but it can never be taken away. Jealousy, envy, and even murder can never transfer the birthright of dominion from one brother to another. Cain killed Abel, but still he did not receive the birthright of dominion. And Cain's descendants, Cain's sons, have feared and hated their brothers, the sons of God, because of dominion. Even Joseph's brothers hated Joseph because he was chosen by God to rule. But their hatred was in vain because he had dominion. And he still loved and forgave his brothers. My brothers of color, I will use Floyd Money Mayweather as proof to show to you and reveal to you the Mayvenchi Code and demonstrate that you still have dominion. Stop settling for servitude and get free. Take ownership of your life and rule. It's your destiny to rule. Love and forgive your brothers who persecute you, are jealous of you, envious of you, fear you, and hate you. It's time to reestablish your covenant with the Father and reclaim your birthright of dominion. The great I am, the Messiah, the Son of God, has offered you a set of promises. I call them the Mayvenchi promises. One of them is 3 John 1 verse 2. Beloved, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper and be in health, even as thy soul prospereth. The Father's wish is that you prosper and be in health. To my European Christian brothers, descendants of the 10 tribes of Europe, descendants of Rome, descendants of Greece, the Gentiles, sons of the Spirit, sons of the New Covenant, you were supposed to do much better. Just because of the name that you claim, you have forever ruined beyond repair the name of Christianity. It doesn't matter what everybody else does. You were supposed to hold yourself to a higher standard just because of your name. And even though you spiritually bankrupt the name of Christianity, I, Michael Emmanuel, the spokesperson for the Remnant Sons of God, I forgive you for gunning my brothers down in the street at the same rate that you hung our fathers from a tree. I forgive you for over 400 years of slavery, Jim Crow, the prison industrialized complex, the war on drugs, and most of all, I forgive you for the blood that's on your hands, for creating the most diabolical system of slavery that this planet has ever seen. You have lost your way. and so that your sons and daughters that want to come back can find the way. I am intervening. I will tell you where you went wrong and tell you how you can make it right. Listen, my Christian brothers from the West, those who forget history are destined to repeat it. You are not the only prodigal son that has been given the opportunity to return home. But let me show you the way. Every prodigal son can come home. The Father is waiting with open arms to accept you. But you have used the Lord's name in vain. You are the fig tree that did not produce fruit. And let's review what happens to the fig tree that I am could not eat from. Acts 3 verse 10. John the Baptist predicted, the axe is ready at the root of trees that do not produce fruit. It will be cut down and thrown into the fire. And then the Master himself in Mark 11, 12, 13, and 17, he came out, and as he saw a fig tree in the distance, he walked over to the fig tree in the summer months, expecting for there to be fruit on the tree. And when he got to the fig tree produced no fruit. And he said, may no one ever eat fruit from you again. And the tree withered immediately. I say the same thing to Christianity today. That name is no longer fit for spiritual consumption because of the lack of fruit that you have produced. Today we place the same asterisk on Christianity that has been placed on Major League Baseball and A-Rod for cheating the game. You have cheated the game for all of these years, and now you bear an asterisk. In Mark 17:17, the Master said, when he went to the temple and the money changers were there exchanging money, he said, you have made my house a den of robbers. My house was supposed to be the house of prayer, but you have made it a den of robbers. And you have done the same thing with the name of Christianity. You have made it into a place to carry out your business of exploitation. In Revelation 18:23, he said, you have no more light in you, and you cannot hear the voice of the bridegroom. As Christianity in this prophecy, it says, and the voice of the bridegroom and of the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee. We know the bridegroom is the great I am, and the bride is his church here on this earth, which Christianity claimed to be. But this prophecy says, and the voice of the bridegroom and of the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee, because of those mangers that was in the temple were the great men of the earth, and for by their sorceries were all the nations deceived. Christianity just got called out. It said, because merchants were the great men of the earth and deceived all of the nations. And that's exactly what has happened in history. From the time of the so-called holy wars, the crusades, to the Christian monarchs of Europe and the Christian priests of Europe, right down to presidents of the United States. Your great men, your merchants, your mangers, the whole world. And the ultimate call out happened by the bridegroom. The bridegroom calls out Christianity specifically in Matthew 7:21 through 23. Not everyone that says unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, but he that doeth the will of my Father which is in heaven. Many will say to me in that day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in thy name? What is in thy name? Christians. Lord, Lords, have we not prophesied in thy name? And in thy name, Christians have cast out devils, and in thy name, Christians done wonderful works. And then will I profess unto them, I never knew you. Depart from me, you that work iniquity. So listen, this is what's going to happen. We're going to go back to what was working. All right? If it ain't broke, fix it. See, what happened is your ancestors, your Greek pagan ancestors from Antioch back in the day got excited when the gospel was brought to them by Paul and Barnabas in Acts chapter 11, verse 25 and 26. Then Paul and Barnabas, the disciples, were first called Christians in Antioch. Paul and Barnabas spent a year in Antioch preaching the gospel. And while they were there amongst the Greeks in Antioch, the Greeks started calling them Christians. But very soon after that, Acts 14, they went up to Lystra, another Greek pagan city, and those same individuals tried to worship Paul and Barnabas as Hermes and Zeus. And Paul rejected their worship. Right? So that's where it went wrong. So we're going to get back to the basics. We're going back to Acts chapter 9. Acts chapter 9, where that's the second code violation. The second code violation was identified by Paul in 2 Thessalonians 2:7. He called it the mystery of iniquity. He said, for the mystery of iniquity is already at work. He's talking about in that early so-called Christian church. He said, but the one who holds back the mystery of iniquity will continue to do so until he is taken out of the way. So what Paul is saying is, y'all saw we was disciples, y'all got excited, y'all started calling us Christians. He was like, but y'all trying to hold on to y'all worship of Zeus and wrap Christian disciples around your pagan idols. And they did this all, and you guys do it up to this day. So as a result of these code violations and the fact that the name Christianity no longer means anything, the only route for you to come back home is for you to follow the way. The Father's wish is that his children, the remnant sons of God, be called the way, because that is what he called them when he came to their defense and saved them from the destruction at the hands of Paul in Acts 9:1 and 2. Saul asked for letters, so if he found any there in Damascus that belonged to the way, that he could persecute them. You did your thing under the name of Christianity and spoiled the name of Christ. So the sons of God say, the way is the name that the Father children with, not Christianity. Because I am, said Saul, why do you persecute me? I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh unto the Father but by me. Game over. It is finished. From the Christian crusaders to present day Christian politicians, you exploit people all over the world under the name of competition and capitalism. There is nothing wrong with capitalism, which can be done by taking advantage of opportunities to create win-win situations and not exploiting people by creating win-lose situations. The same way the money changers were doing in the temple. Some of the best money changers in the world today claim to be Christians. So today, we are turning over your tables again and forever taking back Christ's association with that name and replacing it with an asterisk. And now God's children will go back to be called the way. I am the way, the truth, and life. The sons of God will be called the way.